Hi, Nova Babes. It's been a minute. Obviously, I'm looking a little crazy. This is not going to be my normal collective reading. It is a little combination of a channeled message slash update. So, Donald is at the hospital currently. This is the third time in the last week that he has been there. So, basically, what we are understanding, he has CHS, which is a cannabinoid hematosis. I don't know. I don't know. So basically, the vapes, like the weed pens, he was smoking so much of them that they turned into this syndrome, which is causing him to vomit an uncontrollable amount and making him very dehydrated. He's unable to eat. So it has been very scary. This last week, there's been a lot of stuff. And, you know, I will talk more about this on Friday's call, but it is it has been a lot. Not only for him, but for me. I had strep throat. I'm also, trying to deal with all of this stuff. We had no idea what was going on. And it was really hard, and I know all of us have had, moments with significant others or family members or whoever where they end up in the hospital or there's something majorly wrong and you don't know what's wrong. So it gives you anxiety. It gives you, where you're like, okay, what is the deal here? And that has been something that I've had issues with. And it is very difficult for me because I am a control freak, as y'all know, and it was giving me a lot of anxiety because there was nothing, like no one could give me answers, no one could give me options, and every time they would give him fluids and meds and go home, and then the moment that he ate or drank, he would be right back at the hospital, and that's scary. And he hasn't been working, and it's just like I'm stressed out about money, I'm stressed about all of it, right? And I I've just been so in my head, in my feelings, in my own world, right? And it's funny because, transitioning from Gemini season into Cancer season, which happy Cancer season, it's hard. It's absolutely hard because Gemini is all about communication. And I communicated a lot, right? In terms of like how I was feeling. Me and Donald have had lots of arguments and or conversations, depending on how you want to put that. And it is difficult. It's hard because there's lots of emotions and feelings wrapped around that. But I realized this is the first time in my life, for real. This is the first time in my life that I've actually stood up for myself. I said what I needed to say. I was honest. I was real. And a lot of the stuff that I said was really hard. Hard to hear, hard to process, like meaning between me and Donald. And it's showing me how much strength I really have and how I actually can stand up for myself no matter what. 333 as I say that. And it's hard, and I know all of us have had something or someone or multiple things or multiple someones that we felt like we couldn't express ourselves or we felt like we couldn't be 100% honest because of how they would react. And this Cancer season, and we'll obviously see this as we are going through our lesson for this week, but this Cancer season is absolutely, and I'm not saying this to fearmonger, is absolutely going to wreck you in the best way emotionally, because Cancer is coming through and being like, what is it really that you want? What is it really that you're doing? And not just emotionally, right? Cancer is more than just emotions. Cancer is looking for you to flow, right? To flow within who you really are, what you really want, how you want to be perceived, and so on and so forth, right? It's a checkpoint, if you will, because we just hit the summer solstice yesterday. And that is bringing up, this checkpoint. Okay, it's been 6 months since the winter solstice, so on and so forth. What have you culminated between that timeline, right? What have you truly done? And that was when I really got to thinking. And um, the last week, and when I was super sick, I was on my period. I was going through it, y'all. I ended up doing a reading for myself. And I did my reading with this oracle deck, my Feel Your Feelings deck. Okay. This is the one that I made last year. I've obviously used this. You guys have seen this before. I might drop the voice note, but it's like 45 minutes long. Okay. It is a long reading. And like I am boohoo crying through half of it. So, like, some of it you can't even understand me, but I knew that I needed to do a reading for myself the way that I do readings for you guys because I needed to tap into something deeper. I get out of my head and really channel something for real. And I've been doing a lot of channeling lately. So that's why, I'm trying to do this channel message, not necessarily channel from the cards, but channel from my own. I am going to break it down more on Tuesday, but this reading that I did just really cleared up so much for me and made me understand so many different things within myself, the kind of love that I need, the kind of safety, security, the liberation, the shame. I still am holding a lot of shame. And I realize that is why I'm having a hard time processing moving forward and accepting certain things because I still have shame. As you guys know, I'm about to launch my one-on-one program. And by the way, Kate, I will be messaging you so we can get everything together. Obviously, my timeline's a little bit off since of all of this, but I am pushing for next week. But seriously, in all seriousness, that I know that I am meant to do this. Okay. I know deeply that I am meant to coach, that I am meant to do the one on one coaching or group coaching or whatever, right? I know I am meant to do this. And I hold a lot of pressure and weight to it because I don't want to fuck it up. But in reality, after I did this reading and everything for myself, I think me fucking it up is actually what's going to make it successful because there's something about me being real. There's something about me being open and honest and showing people that even through the mess, there is still beauty, there is still realness, there is still raw. Uh, and that is what I want. I don't want anybody to join Stellanova or be a part of my one-on-one program or anything that think that I am perfect. Confirmation. That thinks that I am, this like well put together. Hello, you see me, right? I'm sitting here in my pajamas. I have not showered in like 2 days because of the hospital and everything else. I am at this point now where I am realizing I have to just show up as me. That me being me is more than enough. Trying not to cry. But it is, a part of the reading that I did for myself, there came this moment of realizing what unconditional love is. And I realized that I have that for Luna. She's my daughter, but she's also a part of me. And it hit me like a ton of bricks that I love her unconditionally. But when it comes to myself, I have many conditions on how I love myself and making myself feel worthy and wanted and acceptable, right? And all of these different things. And I've been talking about finding hobbies and doing more for myself, but I realized I was just running away from the reality of the shame and the guilt and the pain that I have felt. And I've been doing a lot of the work. I mean, you guys have been seeing me, right? Doing the work, making it happen. But now I'm realizing that this work and what the payoff looks like, what it all looks like at the end of the day, is not what I envisioned. So I kept telling myself that I wasn't there yet because the vision that I had on how I was going to feel and how it was all going to look was going to look and feel a different way. But now I am realizing that is not the case. That is not true. I am not as far off from my vision, my dreams, my goals as I thought I was, because I didn't think that I was going to be happy until I was in my own home, or I didn't think that I was going to be successful or whatever because I wasn't making X, Y, and Z. But I'm realizing that me doing everything that I am doing and actually pouring love back into myself, right? Really filling up my cup is what is really going to change me. And it has been changing me. But I've been in survival mode heavily for the last like 2.5 years. And I mean, my whole life, but heavily for the last 2.5 years. And now I have realized, oh, I don't have to be in survival mode anymore. I don't have to feel the way that I am feeling. And that's amazing. But it's also like somewhat disappointing because it didn't look the way that I thought it was going to look. But it's like now that I'm having these like realizations, I'm finally understanding like, wow, this is actually things that I've been manifesting and asking for have actually come into my reality without me even knowing it. If we're being honest, like without me really realizing it. So I challenge you this week to kind of take a step back and look at your life and your manifestations. If you have like an old journal or anything that you've kept for your manifestations before, review it. Is there things that you have asked for and wanted that you now have, but it just doesn't look the way or feel the way that you thought it was going to look or feel? Because that is something that I am truly realizing here, especially in this Cancer season, that just because it doesn't look the way that I thought it was going to look or feel the way I thought it was going to feel. Because I think honestly, that's really been messing me up the most is the feeling. I thought I would, everything else would just fade away, right? Oh, once I have all this money, my shame and my guilt and my pain is going to just float away. Wrong. And we've talked a lot about building strong foundations. And this is a part of building that strong foundation, actually feeling the shame, feeling the guilt, feeling the pain. And I know no one wants to feel that. But sometimes feeling it is actually what transforms you. And like the phoenix, the butterfly, whatever analogy you want to use, that process is what takes you to the next level. That's what takes you to the level that you're trying to be at. So this week, I'm going to challenge us. I have one question for the week. I don't know it verbatim, so but it's going to be in today's lesson so that you can see it. And we are going to be talking about that all week long and using that as our pivot point for Friday's call. Okay, because as of now, as I am posting this is Monday, I will be doing the call as long as nothing major happens. By Wednesday, I will let you all know for sure for Friday. But this question this week is a transformation question that I really want us to focus on. And I'm not looking for anybody to drop their responses Monday, Tuesday. I would love by Wednesday or Thursday or even Friday when we get on the call. But this is our time, okay, to really tap in and tune in to our thoughts, feelings, and emotions here. Because Cancer season is not going to let you do anything otherwise, okay? It is a water sign. You are definitely going to feel it, and we're in the middle of summer. So take this time, right? I'm keeping it short and sweet today. And obviously, I don't have like an overall message other than our feelings are going to be coming through here. And instead of ignoring them, instead of pushing them away, instead of telling yourself that you'll deal with it later, you're going to deal with it now. Cancer season is not going to let you do anything else otherwise. But this is the perfect opportunity for us to really collaborate. This is something that we've been talking about a lot, but collaboration with each other. How can we share what's going on with ourselves? Confirmation. How can we share what's going on with ourselves, the real vulnerable parts of ourselves, and use the support around us to actually pivot us into that next level? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best sentence, the best response. Hell, half the time I tell y'all, respond with a GIF, respond with a voice note, respond with whatever. I don't care. It's not about having like a full-fledged, beautiful outline and breakdown. It's about being real. That's why we all joined this, right? That's why I created it. I wanted people to be real. I wanted a place where I could be real. I wanted other people to feel safe, seen, heard, and supported. This is just your reminder that this place is that place for you. But the only way that you'll actually feel like that is if you actually utilize it. And I know all of us, I think every single one of you individually has messaged me on certain things. Love that, appreciate that. And I know not everyone wants to share everything all in the group. No problem. But I will say that I believe that everyone in this group truly is there to support one another and is ready, open, and willing to hear and support in whatever way possible. So, this season, this Cancer season, the midpoint of our year, this up and coming, right? We're in the middle of June. Let's really change the game for ourselves. Let's really feel the things that we need to feel. And it's not like the deep, deep stuff, right? It's stuff that's lingering. It's stuff that has been kind of circling us for a little while. And we just, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. The time is nigh. The time is now. It is happening right now. Okay. I'm going to pull one card. I'm feeling like we need at least one to end this. And this is the feeling. So this is like our feeling for the week, our feeling for what we need. So let's see. Okay, we got two. First one, resilience. You've been through it, but you are still standing. Hopeful. A fresh start is on the horizon. I love this. I love this. You are resilient. As much as we don't believe it, we are. And not only that, we are hopeful for the fresh start that is here because it is here. It's not oh, I can't wait until it happens. It's already here. It's already here. You're not the same person that you were a year ago. And you definitely are in a new season and a new process of figuring out who that is and what what this version of you requires and needs. But Cancer is looking to you to say, are you doing it for the old version of you or the real version, the new version of you? Ponder that this week. Love y'all.